XRP on the private ledger. If you're in the XRP community, you've either seen this article or seen this video by Black Swan Capitalist, also known as First-Hand Ultra, talking about how he's seen XRP's price at $327,000 on the private ledger. On top of this, you've probably also seen this video, First-Hand Ultra, once again, talking about how the XRP's price is set in the thousands of dollars by the International Monetary Fund. In today's podcast, we talk with the man himself, First-Hand, about how he got these numbers, exactly the details as to the XRP price, and even, is XRP priced on the private ledger at $327,000? This was an absolute epic video, so make sure you guys tap the like button, subscribe, and let's get right into the podcast. All right, guys, and welcome back. Today we have another special guest with us, First-Hand Ultra, also known as Black Swan Capitalist. Now, I wanted to go on straight onto the bat, First-Hand. Obviously, you've been going viral for $327,000 seen on the private ledger. Give us a history and a backstory for that.
First of all, man, it's great to see you again, such short notice, and it's nice to see your face. Now I know who you are. Anyways, you guys are incredible researchers, and again, it's a privilege to be here with you today. A very sharp individual. My God, you know, for us to talk about this, we got to go back to 2021. And I had a very interesting conversation with somebody that I considered to be a friend at the time, Crypto Rick. He wears a crown on his head. It's kind of funny. Now, during that call, I was actually having a few drinks, and I wasn't really sure that he was going to take that information and kind of blast it out there. And by the way, the video has been deleted. So I was actually looking at it to prop that part out and make a new video today with what I know now compared to what I did know in 2021 and explain it thoroughly more in detail. So I'm going to put a video out in the next few days about this. But, you know, there was a moment where I was sharing with him, my brother and I were watching a video on YouTube in 2021 out of Japan showing the price of XRP moving at very lightning speed, if you will. The price, I'm not even joking, it started at around $20, it jumped to 50, it went to 100, 500, something like that, and it kept climbing and climbing. By the time I told my brother, okay, I get it, pause the video, that's when I saw the price roughly at around $327,000 per token. And I'm not kidding. I was telling Vindel, okay, I get it. I get it. I had goosebumps. I really did, because I was shocked. And it was that moment where Vidal and I, after doing a lot of research, realized, holy shit, like this is really extraordinary. Something big is really happening behind the scenes. So what did I do shortly after that? I decided to do more research. And if people could listen to the rest of the interview, I actually talk about this, maybe not as well as I can articulate it today. But I started doing more research into all of this. And you know me, I have the documents. I sent you guys the documents, a lot of them. I don't know if you actually took time to read them, but this is what I do. I don't go out. I have a very small circle, don't socialize. I read a lot because this is my life savings are invested in this technology. So what did I do? Did some research. I confirmed it, and you guys can confirm it as well, that there is indeed an existence of a private ledger on the XRP ledger, you know, a fact that was backed up by no other than Brad Garlinghouse himself. And if you need proof, I also posted clips on my Instagram and my X account in the very beginning. It's still there, by the way. I know I delete X tweets a lot, where Brad actually talks publicly about a private ledger. And, you know, when we look at the public ledger, then we see XRP trading roughly at the time, 50 cents, 40 cents. So back then there was a huge discrepancy that started to make sense once I really dug deeper and started to realize what was actually happening behind closed doors. So let's start from there. The private ledger is not a conspiracy theory. In fact, it is a fact, and it's a specialized environment that was, I think, tailored for institutional use case. And you see major financial institutions, including central banks, have been utilizing this private ledger, and I'm speculating here, to test, I think, the scalability of XRP for handling high valued cross-border transactions. So I even put a tweet out today saying those price glitches, and it makes more sense now that we've been reporting, and this is not just random. You get these reports of price glitches from all over the world, right?
Yeah, actually, just on a note, I actually just like a couple hours ago, somebody sent me a DM on on X now, and he showed me, and it was a price glitch as well. It was like, I think I was on
Yeah.
Coinbase, and he said, yeah, price glitch, and it was, I think, $70 or $80 on there.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a friend in Houston. Her name is DJ Athena. You guys can look her up. She's actually very famous in Houston for mixing music at the nightclubs and whatnot. We told her to get into XRP, and I'm not kidding. One night it glitched. She screenshotted it, sent it to my brother, and said, Vindel, XRP was at $22 million.
Yep.
I'm not even kidding. See, so that's way higher than 327.
It happens.
So people are freaking out about 327. I mean, go back and do your research. Now, what does this have to do with anything, right? Because we're talking about trillions and trillions of transactions, but this isn't your average crypto again. XRP is not a cryptocurrency like all the others in the space. It's the infrastructure, the backbone for the new financial system. We keep going in circles over this, right? Majority of the community. So XRP, if you really look at it, it was not, I don't think, meant for retail investors. It has a bigger purpose, was always to serve as not just a bridge asset for the world's largest financial players. That does not include us, by the way. So this is where it gets interesting. After doing more research into the private ledger, then we look, there's a public ledger. So now healthy speculation that they're likely to merge, if you will, after regulatory clarity is finally achieved. We're getting closer and closer. If you look at the landscape in regulation for digital assets right now, everything is converging towards this moment where this new system is like upon us, if you will. So right now, you know, the private ledger, I think, functions more like a sandbox, basically allowing central banks, again, and financial institutions to transact and to test without affecting the public markets today. That's what my real belief is. So I think this is similar to like a pre-IPO where stakeholders determine a stable valuation before an asset goes public. And the stakeholders in this case are the central banks. So if we see, I think, the fog around the legal ramifications of this digital asset, I mean, guys, they're attacking XRP for a specific reason, not just ETHgate and building infrastructure around it through Ethereum ICO. It's bigger. It really is. So the regulation is coming. We're going to see two ledgers possibly synchronize. And I think that's the moment when the institutions are going to be ready to, and that's what I've said before, it's going to be at a time of their choosing. People are like, well, what do you mean? Again, this is for institutions, not retail. We're going to get deeper into this. So that's when the moment is going to be when they're going to have to reveal the true value of the XRP on the public side, driven by, again, utility and massive volume of transactions. And I don't think this is speculation. Now, let me pivot to something else for a minute and we'll come back. If you just look at Vindel's track record and my track record, okay, about our calls. And by the way, I don't say predict because there's no such thing as prediction. I don't say prophecy either, like some of the other guys. There's no such thing as prophecy. It's called trends forecasting. If you do the research the right way, you are going to forecast how this may play out. That's not a prophecy. Let's clarify that, okay? So I've seen people say, we prophesized XRP is going to be set at this number. That's not prophecy. That's research. And now you understand it. So you're claiming that you prophesized something that was inevitable anyways. I'm sorry. I had to just say that. We predicted anyways, or prophesized, or even speculated. I say we forecasted that Ripple would tokenize gold on the XRP ledger years before it happened. We talked about this 2 years ago, you and I.
Yep.
And sure enough, guess what? We were proven right. This was recent. We told people that stable coins would be issued on the XRP ledger. And again, we were right. They were.
And
we called we called the partnerships between Ripple and central banks around the world long before they were all announced. Guess what? We were right. We told people that the central banks were going to tokenize their debt on the XRP ledger. We were right. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of criticism and tribalism in the XRP community. Like I said earlier, it's a pissing contest at this point. Who can provide the most insight? And, you know, we kind of covered things already in some way, form, or fashion long ago. So I think it's undeniable that our research has been accurate time and time again. And I have to take credit for this. I really do, because the narrative is becoming very clear. XRP, no doubt, was designed for infinite scalability, a fact that even Arthur Brito hinted on the website that he mentioned its capability had to handle what transactions for 7 point something billion, the entire global population that is. That's not an accident. Mm-hmm. He didn't say that because he wanted to. He said it because he meant it. And then guess what? They removed it. on the website of the Ripple website, they said XRP was designed to be a global reserve currency. That was their game. Then they removed it. You see where I'm going with this? So it's engineered to be a reserve currency capable of handling all the money in the world. And that's the conclusion we keep coming down to. There's going to be a merge between what's happened on the private ledger, the scalability stress tests, if you will, and the public ledger is what we're seeing today. I think that's the final step in validating this vision. So we're getting closer and closer if you look at the way things are playing out in the world. And what you can do is align that, what we've been saying for years, and that's all from the documents. People are like, well, how did they know? We didn't know. We actually researched the documents. If you read the documents that we sent you, you'll see if you can interpret the language. This is going to play out like this. Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, this is strategic way that they're releasing all the data, and it's preparing XRP to pretty much take place as the backbone of the new financial system. And if I may pivot one more time, I'm sorry, man.
No, it's okay.
I know I talk a lot. Okay. It's all the coffee. I've been waiting. So I think many people have also tried in the past to dismiss like what we've said, our insights. Crypto Rick even attacked us after pretending to be our friend, which is funny. And many people have even plagiarized our research and tried to take credit for all the, forecasts that we put out there. And the truth is evident now. Anyone can actually figure this out. We were never wrong. We were just way ahead of the curve because we actually did honest research. We saw what others couldn't see. And as a result, we've been, I think, on point with so many of these developments. So it's not about being speculative. It's about recognizing the intentional design behind the technology and basically all the calculated moves that Ripple was, and its partnerships have been trying to make. Yeah.
Is there a set price for XRP?
I know what you're talking about. Okay. So when I made the statement about the IMF setting the price, I want people to understand that it wasn't something that was told to me directly. It was really a conclusion that I arrived to by myself after years of research. And I had some prior conversations with Linda in the past. She was a dear friend of mine that really sparked a deeper analysis for me to go down the rabbit hole even deeper. And she never explicitly said that the price would be set. Those were my words, right? And how did I come to that conclusion? The pieces really began falling into place after I started connecting the dots, what I've learned from other various credible sources and doing, of course, my own due diligence. But to understand this, I was trying to explain to people that the process of this would be like a pre-IPO for a stock if you want to take it public, where the price isn't left to chance, but it's actually strategically determined. And I've been in meetings in the past where I actually participated in this stuff with my stepfather in Dubai. I would sit down and listen. And in this scenario, the IMF would be pretty much the central bank of all central banks, and like the CEO, if you will. And alongside the Bank for International Settlements, who's deeply involved with discussions with Ripple for, financial technology and so forth. So basically, these entities, I think, are essentially guiding the process. Now, how did I come to the conclusion that the price would be set? Okay, let's look at it like this. If you give it, let's say the central banks are collaborating with Ripple to utilize XRP, it becomes very clear that XRP, again, was effectively designed for managing large-scale financial operations and I think global liquidity as well. So the price naturally has to be set very high for it to do the job that it needs to do. So based on that logical conclusion and based on its design, it really helped me, understand how they were going to use this. So a lot of people did take words out of my mouth and they twisted it, but I was purely speculating without actual evidence. And I think the broader point was about the incentive for central banks to stabilize their debt. So in this situation, it would be like the central banks are the shareholders, all right? Mm-hmm. And again, going back to what I said, the price would have to be set high for it to do what it needs to do. So it's like taking a company public. As far as what it does once the price is out there, right? XRP gets burned when you use it. So the more you use XRP, the price infinitely continues to go higher. It doesn't come down. That's my point. So for it to do the job and to pretty much function the way it needs to, it has to be high already. So that's where I came with the conclusion. The price has to be set. And the central banks, again, are acting like shareholders. I
And I
mean,
think
it's not hard to come up with the conclusion. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but if you look at the way things are playing out, this is the direction they're going in, and knowing already that the price has to be high. So it's just critical thinking. This is not speculation. And based on, again, our track record, I would say we're early again, not wrong.
Mhm. I mean, we've seen the ISDA, which came out and said, Ripple joined
ISDA.
BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and they're entering the derivatives market, which the derivatives market is $1.25 quadrillion market, is what the report said.
Mm-hmm.
And you could speculate, I guess, that if Ripple was to capture even a small percentage of that, I mean,
Yeah.
take that divided by the supply, goes into its market cap, the value rises.
That's right. That's right. And that's exactly how it was designed to function. The thing is, I don't think they're ready yet. Look at how things are playing out. Now the EU wants to come out with a stable coin for their national currencies. How many times did I say that every country is going to have their own stable coin on the XRP ledger? Because this is how it's going to play out. And I don't care what Tether is doing. I don't care what Circle is doing. These technologies are still maybe going to emerge, Circle and Tether, but we know the risks associated with Tether. We don't know the risks associated with Circle, but besides the fact that it's backed by the dollar. But now look what real USD is doing. So the direction I see this playing out in with stablecoins is that money is naturally going to just flow out of those ones that have lack of transparency, bad backing. I mean, Tether has so many financial problems shrouded in mystery. Why the hell would anyone keep their money in there, especially governments? So it's crazy, man. RLUSD is the first step to tokenizing all the dollars in the world. And at the same time, buying time for the dollar to continue to survive. It's a lifeline. It really is, to allow central banks to manage their debt, tokenize their fiat currencies, and also extend the digital influence of the dollar, making de-dollarization take even longer, but not inevitable.
Makes sense. Do you think the XRP ledger, now, of course, there's RLUSD and there's XRP. The XRP ledger, if RLUSD is facilitating a lot of the money, does that mean the XRP ledger is the one that's capturing it all?
Of course. Yeah. See, it provides its value through the technology. It's an extension of it. It's an aggregate of it. All this shit you see being built on the XRP ledger is an aggregate of the XRP itself, which means that's where the value is. It's a protocol.
Makes sense.
And that's what it even stands for. XRP stands for cross-border remittance protocol. It's an open blockchain technology, not blockchain. It's an open currency out there that banks and financial institutions, anybody can participate. And this is why I still believe it is the most undervalued asset. And there are a lot of other undervalued assets, including HBAR. We've been seeing a lot of action with HBAR.
Mm-hmm.
HBAR just did some big partnership with Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
You see that? Yeah.
We also heard that, and this is for HBAR, that one of the SEC commissioners that is said to be possibly going to be the next SEC chairman, he's actually on the list, potentially being one, was
Brian Brooks.
Yes, Brian Brooks is director of the HBAR board.
Yeah. Vendel and I tried to get him on the show.
Oh, very cool.
Well, we can't reach everybody. We've tried. You know how long it took me to get Robert Kiyosaki on? 6 months.
Wow.
And I still managed to do it successfully.
That's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, we want to bring more finance guys onto our show, like FinTech, to help us maybe, connect the dots. But I think Vendel and I have been doing really good work. We work together, and what we do is we share our findings with each other, and we poke holes in our logic to see where we messed up and how this could be proven right.
I know you're connected with a lot of people. They're like high value people that have made millions and billions. Do they know about XRP? Do they use XRP? Do you ever hear somebody saying, we actually have XRP, or we're dealing with XRP, or anything of that sort?
No, nothing like that. But I mean, even Andy Scheckman, when he was on our show, we first introduced XRP to Andy. We introduced it to Lynette Zhang, by the way, who attended the Vegas, 2023 Vegas, right? Yeah. But when we talked to them, Andy was saying, And there's a short of this on the channel. When you own XRP, I see it as an opportunity to become incredibly wealthy with very little risk. Those were his words. When we talked to Lynette Zhang, she said the Bank for International Settlements has their private money flower, which is, by the way, a mechanism for central banks to adopt before the public adopts. This is the groundwork being laid out. Get it? Right. And this money flower consists of gold, some cash, private crypto assets. And there were only two. XRP and XLM, two dual currency payment system. I wish I could screen share something with you. I have a document right here that is recent. It just came out. I posted the short on X. I encourage everyone to see it. And it's a central bank. A New York professor who talks about XRP revolutionizing the global financial landscape with the XRP on-demand liquidity. And he talks, if you listen to the rest of the conversation, about central bank money versus private money. That's a dual currency system. That's XRP and XLM. XRP was, again, designed for institutions, while XLM was designed peer-to-peer, you and I. I mean, the writing's on the wall. It really is. So, yeah, when we speak to some of these experts, like they own XRP as part of their investment, which is, by the way, something I encourage everyone to do. A piece of advice I'd like to give everybody. Having a diversified portfolio is instrumental to surviving the changes ahead, because the problem is markets can remain irrational longer than you and I can remain solvent. That's a piece of advice I give to all my clients, by the way.
Makes sense. No, for sure. Actually, that's diversification is actually something we always mention, even on the channel. Always got to diversify.
Yeah. And by the way, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted, it's okay. You can say what you said, and then I'll ask you kind of a final question.
Well, I don't intend to ever sell my XRP. I've made this abundantly clear before. I don't intend to, because I understand its use case. Everyone's shocked about the price of XRP. This is just the beginning. You haven't seen anything yet. I diversify my portfolio because I want to take profits elsewhere so I can keep my XRP. And God knows what the IMF might do. They might do an electronic special drawing rights, which means Val Hill's buyback thing is more revolutionary than ever. And I'm not saying that that's how it's going to play out, but I'm saying that he did a real service to the world by allowing the world to know and raising the concern that, guys, we're holding on to something worth a lot of money. And then you kind of factor in the debt, you factor in everything else, the numbers go through the roof. If you look at the valuation of what they've done, they come up with 1 million XRP. Yeah.
Do you think there is going to be a buyback? Is it possible? Is it going to happen?
Of course it's possible. Anything's possible. But there could be a buyback in this scenario if the IMF comes out and says, hey, we're going to make XRP an electronic special drawing rights. And by law, but again, their laws are not constitutional anyway. So we can certainly raise that question too. I think XRP should be a currency because that's what it was supposed to be, really. And if you get the price high enough, you could basically redistribute the wealth to the global population, right? That is a real golden age where everybody can participate and do what they want and fund their own businesses, their own dreams, their ideas. Like me, I want to go into vertical farming. I'm a botanist too when I'm not teaching or doing that. Plants give me sanity. They really do. It's a beautiful thing. So I want to participate in that, but it's $23 million to get my project going. And the last thing I'm going to do is go talk to a bank. So I want to fund these projects myself, and XRP could actually create that scenario where I can have the ability to fund my own projects, and everybody else too. Give back to humanity, It's just the IMF they have the power right now to set it as an electronic special drawing rights. And by law, in their definition, nobody can own that, which means a buyback could be a likely scenario if we raise the awareness of what these people are holding. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of want to finalize this with a question that even Brad Garlinghouse was once asked on Fox News. And that is XRP the next Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think it is. Yes. Listen, Bitcoin, people call it a store of value. I say, I'm sorry, guys, you don't understand it enough. It's actually a liability to the global financial system because it's artificially inflated by a stable coin that has a revolving door between some very nefarious stuff, and it's more centralized than ever. It's owned by Wall Street. It's controlled by Wall Street. It's controlled by a few people at the top. Everybody, and by the way, Bitcoin, I found out something new. I have to write a paper on this. But Bitcoin, I found out, was not just designed to pave the way for accepting digital money, right? And to convince people the illusion, the dream that you can beat the system at their own game, even though it came from them, from the National Security Agency. You could trace back the white paper. Even Martin Armstrong came on my show, who worked with central banks, who worked with Hillary Clinton, who worked with Trump. Not Trump. Yeah, he met Trump at Mar-a-Lago, but he also worked with George Bush Sr. and George Bush and Wall Street. He said it was a National Security Agency thing. Yeah, to convince people to accept digital money. Now, when you say Bitcoin's a store of value, impossible. Store of value, by definition, does not drop 40% in minutes like that. That's impossible. That's not store of value. It's a liability to the financial system because of its relationship with Tether, who has a lack of transparency, managed to avoid 8 financial audits and probably more. Just like Bernie Madoff, they were warned. They got away with it. Somebody is allowing this to continue. It's common sense. But no, people don't want to acknowledge the truth. They love their bullshit. They really do. And you have to give it to them. I'm sorry, man. I don't think Bitcoin is a store of value. I think it opened the door to all the innovation that you see today. That's about it. So I think if anything, it's a relic, but not a store of value.
100%. And I like to say, like you said, Bitcoin leads the path. It's built it, but it will be surpassed.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. Yeah, I forgot to mention the paper. What I need to write about is I found out that Bitcoin was also designed to accelerate the extraction of cash from the system.
Wow.
Very interesting. And look at the way the world is today. Cash is disappearing at an alarming rate. It's very hard to find cash. I have cash though. So
yeah, it's good to keep diversified portfolio. Got to keep the cash.
I got my printer going still.
And the crypto.
Yeah. Anyways, very, very interesting times ahead. I think we're all on the right path. We just need to, I think, see what's happening in the regulatory environment. At the same time, we need to also raise the question of a digital constitution. Everything's going digital, CBDCs and so forth. We don't want these governments to really have a say in our lives anymore. I think government has to have very little to no regulation and no enforcement on our lives. So what I'm saying is we need to talk about common law and bring that back, educate people on common law, and this time have a digital representation of it. How can people protect themselves financially, your freedom of speech, because it's all digital anyways. These are things that are on my mind, not so much the price of XRP. I know where this is going. I'm comfortable. Those who do their research know what the hell's going on and have nothing to worry about. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we love talking to you. There's a lot of value, and this is why it's important to do your research. Like you said, you do your research, and based on that, it's not all about the price. And I used to say this very early when XRP was like 30 cents. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, XRP is going to zero." And I said, actually, maybe if I still have it, it was like a Ripple XRP metal coin. And I used to say, I hold this because it reminds me of the true value of XRP. And yes, maybe XRP's price may be 50 cents now, but the real potential, the real value is not now.
Yeah.
And it is in the future when it does facilitate.
I mean, what they're doing is look here, don't look there. Every day. Did you know while everybody was watching Trump and his election, right? Which, by the way, I don't want to piss anyone off here, but yeah, all staged. And I'll tell you, even the white hat guys will confirm that part, that was staged. Okay. While everybody was watching Trump, and the other night, while people were watching the UFC or Mike Tyson, nobody was paying attention to what the United Nations was coming out with. You see what I'm saying? Misdirection. I was actually watching the UN while people were watching Mike Tyson.
I was watching.
I heard about the. I heard about the fight. But the UN was putting out laws and the need for digital IDs as this new system is coming into fruition. You see what I mean? Like, what are your priorities? My priorities are looking at what the hell's going on when everybody's distracted. That's it. And then I report about it. It gets very little attention because people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the fact that there's no such thing as decentralization. Maybe a little bit with XRP because it falls outside the central bank purview, and I can explain that in another video. But yeah, you know, they don't want to hear the things they don't want to hear. They want to believe that they're winning. This is exactly what they wanted. Everybody in digital infrastructure, they got it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I own gold. You never know, man. I'm telling you. And yeah, you believe what you want to believe, but I'll tell you one thing. There are skeptics. There are real researchers who are also skeptic. And then you have people that just will buy into any headline. And then headlines set the mood for the reader before they even decide or consider to actually read it for themselves and critically think and perceive what they're reading for themselves. That's the problem. Favoritism over facts. I'm sorry. It's the truth.
100%. You should normally before, like I'll have a title for a video and then nobody watches the entire video. It's just go off the headline, comment in the comment section. So everybody
Anyways, yeah, let people do what they want to do. And hey, I'm comfortable. You are too. And a lot of people in this space are great researchers, brilliant minds out there. They know what they're holding. They know how to explain it and teach it. But yeah, I think the hype is important, maybe. But I think it's more important for a lot of these Xers, these X community guys, to give insight, help people understand what they're looking at or why something is. That's what I try my best to do. Anyways, yeah.
No, for sure. Well, it was a pleasure speaking to you, Versan, and obviously we appreciate you coming on the show and on the podcast to let us know your insight on all the misconceptions and all the things that have been going on from the private ledger to the price. So it was a pleasure.
Oh God. Yeah. And the price of XRP, it's inevitable. It's going to have to be at a very high price. So if you're freaking out about 327,000, there are people out there who said they saw 22 million. I'm not kidding. So, you know, calm down. This is a good thing anyways, right? Why would people be upset? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, take care.
Thank you very much. Take care. Okay. It was a pleasure.
Our pleasure.